said he's not going to sit the bill.
Court will come to order. There's quorum present. These three members here, Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Daniel, and myself. All legal notices have been duly posted and the court is duly called. Is there a motion to adjourn court for the February term?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to open court for the March term?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Second. All those, okay. Any opposed? Motion carries. Bailiff will open court.
All rise. Dallas County Commissioners Court is now in session for the March 2017 term. The Honorable Commissioner Mike Cantrell presiding. Please remain standing for the invocations.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be a guest of Judge Jenkins. He's on his way, and his guest today is Imam Omar Suleiman, and he is the president of the Yaqeen Institute for Islamic Research and a professor of Islamic Studies at Southern Methodist University. He is also the resident scholar of the Valley Ranch Islamic Center and the co-chair of Faith Forward Dallas at Thanksgiving Square. Faith Leaders United for Peace and Justice. His career started in his hometown of New Orleans, where he served as the Imam of the Jefferson Muslim Association in New Orleans for 6 years and directed the Muslims for Humanity, Hurricane Katrina relief effort. It was in this time that he was noted on a national level as being a strong advocate of community service, interfaith dialogue, and social justice. He co-founded the East Jefferson Interfaith Clergy Association, was awarded for his outstanding civic achievement by the mayor and the city council of New Orleans in 2010. He then moved to Dallas and became the resident scholar of the Valley Ranch Islamic Center in 2012, and more recently, co-chair of Faith Forward Dallas at Thanksgiving Square. In Dallas, he has been a noted leader and voice for peace and is regularly featured in national news and documentaries, and the D Magazine recently ran a story on him titled The Religious Leader Dallas Needs. His work in bringing people together was the subject of a BBC documentary in 2016, and work with refugees featured in PBS in January 2017.
Let us pray. O God of the heavens and the earth, the creator of us all, who made us into male and female nations and tribes that we may get to know one another, who sustains our lives and who inspires us to live with compassion and kindness and peace. We ask for daily guidance in all of our personal relationships, in our work, in our play, and in our community involvement, that we may model the possibilities of peace in everything we say and in everything we do. We pray for wisdom and compassion within the hearts and minds of all, including ourselves, who have the power and the responsibility of making decisions that impact the presence of peace. We pray for courage, dedication, and integrity within the spirits of all those who work for peace around the world. We pray for all those who harbor thoughts and feelings of hatred, violence, and greed, that their hearts and minds and souls will be transformed by your supreme compassion and love. We are thankful for your blessings upon us and pledge to use those blessings to seek ways for all people to live in harmony and peace. We pray that we may be loving and able stewards of this world. We pray that we acknowledge our differences as we seek out our common ground, each of us working toward the good of all. We recognize that there is hurt and sorrow, deeds that confound us, and actions for which we find no justification. Yet we also know that there is untold good, people that work every day for the benefit of all. Let us be those people. Let us work to be the change that we seek, and let us do so always with your guidance. We pray for our city, for our country, and for our world. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You're down to the welcome to the meeting.
I've already done it, right?
I haven't done that. Appreciate you.
Well, welcome to our meeting. Iman, thank you so much. Hey, you beat me. Good to see you. Welcome to this meeting of the Dallas County Commissioners Court. We've got some resolutions today. Looks like I'll present the first resolution.
Judge, if we can suspend the rules, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules. We have a judge here.
Well, that's right.
Needs to
Yeah.
get get back. So I'll make the motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Is there a second to that? All right, and all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Judge Birmingham, could you please come forward?
Yeah, but they're on the,
I'm sorry. Judge Jenkins, I appreciate that. Judge Cantrell, last time we were here, you had made mention about a particular rule in the Code of Criminal Procedure. We've looked into that, and I appreciate you telling us about that. I think we've resolved it. I believe that the county Commissioner's Court is going to have the authority, obviously, to hire, and the way we've worked it out with Ryan Brown is that we're going to make recommendations to Gordon Heichel, and then 2 people for this pretrial release department director, and then Mr. Heichel will make the final determination about who that person is going to be.
I will be in support of that court
Okay.
order today. So.
Very good. All the judges I can say are in support of that as well. So thank you very much for that. If you all have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
So we're going to recommend just 2 people, and then he's going to choose one of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Has the job even been posted?
No. That's just the procedure on how that will be done
Oh,
once
okay,
it's
okay.
posted and done.
Once it's
It'll
posted.
actually have to come back through civil service as well,
I see,
so that it
okay.
can be changed. to
So
the reporting
20 people
register.
might apply. We'll narrow it down to 2. That's just the number y'all came up with.
Yes, sir.
And you'll pick one.
Correct.
Okay.
And Commissioner Control, your questions have been answered.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. But everyone that will have the normal application process?
Correct.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
Super.
And there's a committee of judges that will cull that down to 2, and those will be voted on by the judges to then submit to Mr. Heichel for the approval of the Commissioner's Court.
And this is for court order number 1, that's on the agenda.
Okay, just make sure I'm getting it right. You're going to pick 2, you're going to give them to us to approve, and we're going to give them to Heichel, he's going to pick one.
Yes.
Then we're going to have to come back and approve that one, or no?
Commissioners Court will oversee this just like they do every other
Okay.
department.
And all the
We're all sure
judges
it's-
are okay
All
with
sure
this.
it's legal, then that sounds great.
Yes, ma'am. We are.
Okay. Okay.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a great jury trial.
Having me. Thank you also for taking me out of turn. I really do appreciate it. Thank
There
you.
were also 2 other judges who wanted to speak.
Oh, okay, are there 2 other judges who want to speak on this before we get back?
Not on this issue.
No, they wanted to speak at the end.
They're on a legislative, and they need to get back to their courts too. Judge
Okay,
Moberg
sure.
and
Come on
Judge
up.
Greenberg.
that's right.
Okay.
Well, thank you for taking me out of turn, and good morning, Judge Jenkins. Good morning, members of the Commissioners Court. Although I know all of you, for the record, I'm Mark Greenberg. I have
Judge,
served. Yes, sir.
Stop you. I apologize. Let me stop you for just 1 second. You don't, let me have them read the rules of decorum so everyone is treated exactly the same,
Oh, of
including
course.
those of us up here. Go ahead and read the rules of decorum, please, since he's a public speaker.
All Commissioners Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Dallas County Code, Section 74-71. Visitors and registered speakers are to preserve order and decorum at all times. Personal, profane, or slanderous remarks are not appropriate and will not be allowed at any time during this public meeting. Any and all applause is to be kept brief in observance of time constraints. Disruptors, visitors, and/or registered speakers may be removed and are subject to the penalties provided in the State of Texas Penal Code Sections 38.13, 42.01, and 42.05. Registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and the maximum discussion of any one topic is limited to 30 minutes.
Okay, sorry, but we got to do that before anybody speaks.
I understand. I appreciate it, but again, thank you. Judge Jenkins, members of the Commissioner Court, I'm Mark Greenberg. I have served as presiding judge of Dallas County Court at Law Number 5 since January 1st, 2003. I am here this morning to bring to the court's attention issues regarding Senate Bill 985, which was filed by Senator Don Huffines on February 21st and seeks to eliminate 3 of the 5 Dallas County Courts at Law. I am speaking today only on my own behalf and not on behalf of any of my colleagues or any bar organization. Senate Bill 985 seeks to eliminate courts 3, 4, and 5 as of December 31st, 2018, and orders any cases pending in those courts as of that date to be transferred to the remaining 2 courts, Courts 1 and 2. Senator Huff Hines, according to his press release, believes that the bill will, quote, improve justice while saving taxpayer dollars. As I see it, Senate Bill 985 was written and is being promoted without any real-world analysis of how it will affect access to courts and the right to a trial by jury. And it does not take advantage of the best resources available to analyze these issues. For example, the Office of Court Administration is a state agency of the judicial branch of government that operates under the direction of the Supreme Court of Texas. Its mission is to provide resources and information for the efficient administration of the judicial branch of government. It keeps statistics of caseloads and disposition rates of courts throughout the state and makes projections about future judicial needs. Its director is David Slayton. When I learned of Senate Bill 985, I called Mr. Slayton to find out if Senator Huff Hines or his staff had consulted with the Office of Court Administration before drafting this legislation. They had not. Instead, the senator, according to his press release, relied on Dallas County judicial management reports. Using those reports, the senator compared our caseload in fiscal year 2007, when we had approximately 17,000 filings, with our current caseload, which is about 6,000 filings a year. Based on those raw numbers, the senator apparently concluded that 3 of our courts were disposable. But looking at those raw numbers without consideration of the makeup of our dockets in 2007 versus today, and without understanding the different resources and time requirements required for various kinds of cases, creates an incomplete and misleading picture of our court system. The main difference between 2007 and today is the number of debt collection cases that are filed in our courts. Again, I started in 2003. At that time, the economy was beginning to spiral downward and continued to do so through 2006 and 2007 in advance of the recession in 2008. Debt collection cases skyrocketed during this period. The increase in filings were mostly in credit card collection cases, but we also saw an explosion in landlord-tenant cases in which tenants, both residential and commercial, were unable to afford their rent. And we saw an increase in every other type of case that went hand in hand with high unemployment and a bad economy. Few debt collection cases resulted in jury trials. Most were resolved in short order because the defendant didn't file an answer, or we had a very brief bench trial because the facts were often uncontroverted.
Judge, one of our commissioners has pointed out that you're over time, and so unless there's a unanimous agreement of the court, you'll have to end your remarks. Is there a unanimous agreement?
I don't have any problem with him.
Okay. Okay, please continue, sir.
Thank you. Put the 2 things together: 1, a high rate of debt collection cases, and 2, a relatively quick resolution of these types of cases, and you're left with an artificial benchmark of court efficiency and an apples to oranges comparison with what is happening today. Fortunately, the economy has improved greatly for many people since 2007, and we don't have near the number of debt collection cases we once had. But as far as the rest of our docket and the most time-consuming cases, including jury trials, our numbers are roughly the same as they have been for several years. I preside over as many jury trials today as I did 10 years ago. And while I get cases to trial a little faster, my caseload is such that I'm still not in compliance with the Texas Supreme Court guidelines for jury trials, which is getting most cases to trial within 18 months and cases designated as expedited to trial within a year. Back in 2007, it took me close to 3 years to get a jury trial to trial. Today, it takes me a little over 2 years. And I try a jury trial nearly every week we have jurors available. In short, back in 2007, I had a completely unmanageable docket and was nowhere near compliance with the Supreme Court guidelines. By reducing our capacity, I believe that Senate Bill 985 will take the county courts back to the days when it often took 3 years to get to trial. This would be a horrible disservice to all of those who require and have the right to access to our courts. I'm here today to ask that this court, on behalf of all of our constituents, use every resource at its disposal to communicate to Senator Huffines and others in Austin that this is a matter that requires study, that it requires input from the Office of Court Administration, and that, as it stands now, this is misguided legislation. Thank you for the extension of time,
Thank you, sir.
Judge Jenkins.
Thank you.
If there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain them. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Judge. Judge?
Good morning, Judge Jenkins, Commissioners. I'm Ken Malberg, Judge of the 95th District Court of Dallas County, and I serve as the local administrative district judge for the 39 district courts of this county. While I speak for myself today, I can assure you that my civil district court colleagues, most of them who I've talked to, all of them whom I've talked to, share my sentiments. I have no disagreement with what Judge Greenberg's assessment is of the current situation in the county courts at law. But my purpose here is to point out the absolute detrimental effect that the elimination of 3 of those courts would have on the civil district benches in this county. There is no doubt that many of the cases would, if those courts are eliminated, then be filed in the civil district courts in the hope of securing a faster trial date. We are at capacity at this point in our civil district courts. We have not had a civil district court created in this county for decades, even though the OCA, based upon our population, would indicate that we probably need between 5 and 10 more district courts in this county. If those filings, which they would, come to our courts in great number, there is no way we could comply with state guidelines for disposition of cases. I'm sure that we barely comply with that now. Many of us try cases constantly. This, for example, is the first jury week that I haven't tried a jury trial since the year began. And that was simply because everything that I called resolved before it got to trial. Now, keep in mind that the district clerk's office, if this Senate bill became law, the district clerk's office would then be in a position to have to come to you to ask for more help, simply to manage that number of cases. The burden on that office would be dramatic. As you know, we have pared down the numbers for the clerks in the district courts over the last several years. That would reverse itself by necessity. It is no answer to say that if we eliminate the county courts at law, then suddenly that becomes a state problem because they're state district courts. Actually, it's a county governance problem. Like you, I believe our citizens are entitled to a viable, functioning civil judiciary in this county. Should the district courts become overburdened, that will not be possible. Whether you know it or not, and whether many people know it or not, Dallas County is perceived statewide in the legal community as one of the 2 best places for a functioning civil judiciary. Please do not risk that. Passage of SB 985 will jeopardize what we now have, and I believe it is wise to instruct our governmental affairs people to actively oppose this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Moulton.
Thank you. Thanks, Judge. Judge Greenberg, I just sent you a text, so if you get a chance, read that and get back to me. Text me back, will you? All right, so that takes us to, whoops, no it doesn't, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. All right, that takes us back to our resolutions. We're now back on schedule, and I'll present our first resolution today, and it's for employees of the month. Will the following employees please come forward? Abdul Rahman Mohammed from criminal justice, and I've got a little cold, so I may cough a little bit. Karen Zamora from the district clerk's office. Carol Langley Brewer from the district clerk's. Tamara Scroggins from the Health and Human Services. Trent Schultz from Information Technology. Lynette Malloy from Public Works. LaShawn Butler from the Sheriff. George Salazar from the Sheriff's Office. And finally, Linda Beard from the Tax Office. And the resolution reads as follows. Whereas Dallas County employees are hardworking, dedicated, and play a vital role in achieving the goals and objectives set each year by the Commissioners Court, most employees perform above expectations and ensure that Dallas County continues to be a regional leader and a destination of choice for residents and businesses. And Dallas County Commissioners Court authorized the creation of an employee recognition program in 2012 to encourage recognition of dedicated employees who represent the best and the brightest of our workforce. And whereas the Dallas County Employee Recognition Program is consistent with the county's approved administrative plan under which the county seeks to operationally be a model governmental entity. These employees represent the exemplar employee Dallas County hopes to recruit and retain. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby salute the following employees for being selected as Employee of the Month in January 2017 for their respective departments and offers best wishes and continued success here at Dallas County. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You guys are awesome.
We can't do it without you.
Thank you so much. Does anyone want to come up here and chew us out or give us a piece of their mind?
Please do it now.
Yeah, thank God.
Congratulations to them.
And our next resolution will be by Commissioner Daniel.
Well, good morning. Would the women involved with the Women's History Month please come forward? I'd like to recognize them. The Dallas County. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
The Dallas County Commissioners Court joins the nation and women from all walks of life in observance of Women's History Month for the contributions made by women everywhere to our nation's rich history. The National Women's History Month Project 2017's theme is honoring trailblazing women in labor and business. And whereas March 1, 2017 officially marks the beginning of Women's History Month, a month-long celebration occurring every year in March to recognize women who, by their actions and service to the community, unified their voices against inequality and helped pave the way for future generations of women. And whereas the public celebration of women's history began in 1978 as Women's History Week and included March 8th as International Women's Day, in 1987, Congress expanded the celebration to a month, and March was declared Women's History Month. This is that month we honor and publicly celebrate women's achievements throughout the history of the United States. And whereas throughout the history of Dallas County, women have advocated positive change in every aspect of our society, and their accomplishments continue to impact the lives of every citizen. It was in Dallas County, 1893, that the first Texas suffrage organization was formed, the Texas Equal Rights Association. In 1918, 25 years later, Texas women leveraged their political influence during the governor's race, practically guaranteeing the support of women's suffrage. In 1919, Texas became the 9th state in the Union and the first state in the South to ratify the 19th Amendment, leading the way for other conservative states to support women's right to vote and run for office. And whereas Women's History Month presents a remarkable opportunity to honor the tenacity and spirit of women in Dallas County, whose contributions make a significant difference today, such as Felicitas Vela Alfaro, Diana Miles, and Dr. Sherry Johnson. That should be Dr. Diana Miles also. Whereas Felicitas Vela Alfaro, a San Antonio native, has been an active member of the Dallas community for over 30 years. Her passion to community service began in San Antonio at the age of 16, where she taught citizenship classes at the local YWCA. She recently retired as the Executive Dean for Student and Enrollment Services at El Centro College and was a nursing instructor for 20 years. Felicitas is deeply connected to her faith and ministry and completed a certificate in pastoral theology from the University of Dallas. She has been a member of St. Bernard of Clairvaux Catholic Church since 1984, offering leadership in the neighborhood and in the larger community. Felicitas has been recognized for her work with housing for the HIV community and has previously served on the Ryan White Planning Council under former County Judge Lee Jackson. Today, Felicitas is involved in the Christian Leadership Cursillo movement of the Catholic Church and continues to dedicate her time in the areas of education, public health, and faith. And whereas Dr. Diane R. Miles cares deeply about serving others and helping them achieve their dreams, a long and fulfilling career in education gave Diane the opportunity to actively pursue her passion to serve others and apply her leadership skills. She served as interim executive director for the Vogel Alcove, a nonprofit organization that provides free child care to the youngest children of homeless families, and an interim president and CEO of Educational First Steps, an organization that supports existing child care centers by assisting them in gaining and maintaining quality and accreditation status. Diane Miles has served on the following boards: the Texas Health Resources, Presbyterian Dallas's Healthcare Foundation, Dallas Housing Authority, the Dallas Contemporary, the Dallas Summit, and the Cowan Center Council, the Dallas Institute for the Humanities and Culture. Today, she is a full-time caregiver and encourages those who are facing chronic health issues. And whereas Dr. Sherry Johnson lives life enthusiastically and has devoted the same energy to her professional career. Though retired, she continues to serve her community and to promote the advancement of women and girls in Dallas County and beyond. Sherry received the prestigious Women Helping Women Memorial Award and the Richardson YWCA Women of Achievement Award for her community service. Education was a significant part of her career, and she was instrumental in getting grants from the Federal Department of Education to help school districts in a 5-state region implement Title IX, opening jobs in education and educational programs, including athletics, to women and girls. She has a passionate commitment to public education and public health. Currently, Dr. Johnson serves as the District 1 appointee on the Parkland Board of Managers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that on behalf of the Dallas County Commissioners Court and the residents of Dallas County, we all call upon citizens to observe the month of March as Women's History Month, recognizing that we draw strength and inspiration from the women who came before us and these remarkable women who are honored here today. And I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
I would just like to say thank you and just note, too, that education has been a various theme through the lives of these women and blesses all of us as well as the future of Dallas County. Would you like to say anything and to address us?
Thank you. And although
You might think so. I wasn't there in 1919.
Dr. Johnson, would you mind coming to the mic?
I just said I wasn't there in 1919, but glad to be here today. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge you, Dr. Daniels, and you, Dr. Garcia,
Thank you
for being excellent role models in our community. And I want to acknowledge all the women for many generations who have helped us to become the people that we are, men and women of the world.
Thank you, Ms. Alfaro.
Dr. Miles.
And I would just like to also say thank you and to County Judge and all commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to be here, and especially to Dr. Daniel for bestowing this honor on me. I would be remiss if I did not take a moment to think of Commissioner John Wiley Price, my friend, my brother. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and education is our connection.
Thank you all, and congratulations. Great representative.
Behind us. You want to come take a picture with us?
Yes.
Commemorate. You want to come behind?
Thank you.
There you
Doctor.
have it.
You're doing okay? Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Haven't seen Carla since.
Were you first?
I'm going to fist bump you because I got something going on.
Felicitas, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. No, felicidades a ti, gracias por todo.
I'm going to fist bump you because it got a little cold or something.
Oh, that's okay. I appreciate that.
Doctor, how you doing? Dr. Miles, good to see you.
Can you take one without my glasses? Vanity, vanity is
Vanity.
All right, somebody tweet that for Dr. Daniel, and I'll like that tweet or re-quote it or something.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sweetie.
So congratulations to our three recipients of the resolution, and Dr. Daniels, thank you for honoring trailblazing women in business and education. The next resolution is mine, Judge, and I will start with the resolution calling the Mr. Chris Kulak with the March of Meals. I'm sorry, okay, we'll do Zachary Thompson. Hold on, Mr. Kulak, just a second. We do the kidney resolution. As you all know, March is Kidney Health Month, and we have several people represented the National Kidney Foundation. Ama tus riñones, love your kidneys, and we'll be having a World Kidney Day on Thursday, March 9, and I will let Mr. Thompson talk a little bit more about it while I read the resolution, and it says, whereas our kidneys are essential to us as they clean the body by removing toxins and regulate blood pressure. And according to the National Kidney Foundation, diabetes and high blood pressure are major risk factors for kidney disease. And whereas 26 million Americans, 1 in 9 adults, have chronic kidney disease, and most don't know they have it. And whereas the theme for World Kidney Day 2017 is kidney disease and obesity. And whereas obesity increases the risk of developing major risk factors of chronic kidney disease, like diabetes and high blood pressure, and has a direct impact on the development of chronic kidney disease and end-stage renal disease. And whereas to combat the increase of preventable kidney disease, the National Kidney Foundation urges everyone to 1, get tested, 2, reduce the use of anti-inflammatory medications, 3, cut processed foods, excellent, 4, exercise regularly, and 5, stay well hydrated by drinking plenty of water. And whereas to raise public awareness of kidney disease, the National Kidney Foundation is encouraging all Americans to heart your kidney. I love it. On World Kidney Day and throughout the month of March for National Kidney Month. And whereas Dallas County Health and Human Services had partnered with the National Kidney Foundation serving Texas to promote early detection of chronic kidney disease by offering a free kidney health risk assessment screening day on Thursday, March 9, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Dallas County Health and Human Services Department, Building 6th floor, Asefa Tulum Auditorium. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court, in support of the efforts of the Dallas County Health and Human Services and the National Kidney Foundation serving Texas to prevent kidney disease, improve the health and well-being of individuals and families affected by this disease, and increase organ donation, thus hereby proclaim March 9, 2017 as World Kidney Day in Dallas County, Texas, and in collaboration with these partnering agencies, urges all Dallas County residents to adopt healthy lifestyles to prevent kidney disease and protect their kidneys through early detection and treatment. And I so move.
And I second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Mr. Thompson.
Commissioners, thank you, Dr. Garcia, for presenting the resolution. I want to also put in perspective that Mark and the Kidney Foundation have been working with us for a number of years, back when the Kwanzaa Fest and Commissioner Price. So I want to thank you for presenting the resolution. I won't belabor this whole presentation. I'll turn it over to Mark because they do a lot of great work. The free testing will be this Thursday at the Dallas County Health and Human Services, open for our employees, for residents to come by. We will have English and Spanish interpretation done.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Director Thompson, Honorable Judge Jenkins, members of Commissioners Court. Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Also want to acknowledge and show appreciation and support and leadership for Commissioner Price. Did you know that 73 million Americans are affected by kidney disease? 26 million have it, and that it costs the government $100 billion annually. And so the National Kidney Foundation is committed and dedicated to the fight against kidney disease and raising awareness about early detection and prevention and the promotion of transplantation. And so with me today to help fight against kidney disease, I have the president from Dallas Nephrology, Dr. Liang. I have two fantastic nephrologists, Dr. Artie Gupta, Dr. Lauren McDonald. I also have with us a Dallas Nephrology manager by Lisa Prakta, and I have two NKF staff, program manager Amanda Crowley, and development director Kristen McCaffrey. And our national board member and local board member who's been with us for a very, very long time, and his dedication is Mr. Tom Howe. And so it gives us great privilege to be here. It gives us great privilege to partner with Dallas County Health and Human Services and Director Thompson. We will be providing a free screening, as he mentioned, on World Kidney Day, which is March 9th from 10 to 2 at the Dallas County offices on the 6th floor. And so we invite everyone in Dallas County to come and attend that special screening. And so with that said, we know that hearts get a lot of love, but kidneys need love too. I want to turn it over to Dr. McDonald.
Thank you very much. And that was Mark Edwards for the record. I want to say the county kidney community thanks you all very much. It's a terrible disease, and as Dr. Garcia said, a lot of people have it and don't know it. So, Commissioner, Dr. Jenkins, Dr. Garcia, Judge Jenkins, Commissioner Cantrell, Dr. Daniel, thank you very much, and of course, Commissioner Price. And Judge Jenkins, you might need a doctor soon, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. McDonald. It's good to see you.
Just wanted to, again, acknowledge and show our appreciation. We brought some gifts for you. We brought some T-shirts. They'll be coming up. We want to show our appreciation, and we want all of you to heart your kidneys on World Kidney Day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. And of course, like we say, is this coming Thursday, March 9 from 10 to 2, and at the Dallas County Health and Human Services Department, 6th floor, And we will have translators. We have all the information in English and Spanish, and ama sus riñones. So we will post it in our website as well, political and county. So thank you all for being here, and keep up the great job you're doing. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
You all have a great day. The other way around. Thank you. Our last but not least, our resolution is March for Meals. And the Vice President in Development of the Visiting Nurse Association, Mr. Chris Kulak, is here with us, and his group, and I'm going to ask them to come forward. Mr. Kulak is someone that I love and I know for many years, being a former appointee for the city of Dallas. I appreciate his hard work and commitment to the March for Meals. And the resolution reads as follows. It's good to see you all, guys. Whereas over 10,000 baby boomers reach the age of 65 every single day. 1/4 of today's 65-year-olds will live past the age of 90 and will experience many of their daily chores turning into hard chores, everyday challenges. As these seniors already represent the fastest growing population segment in the country, life expectancy has risen to the record high of 78.7 years. Living longer means more years spent in the struggles that accompany old age. And whereas 1/4 of our nation's seniors live in isolation and 30% of seniors are on the brink of poverty, currently 9.3 million seniors in the U.S. are struggling with hunger. Texas has the 7th highest rate of hunger among seniors in the nation. These seniors represent a growing portion of the hidden hungry. And whereas Meals on Wheels operates in virtually every community in America through a network of more than 5,000 independently run local programs, in 1966, VNA gave assistance to the Women's Council of Dallas in their Meals on Wheels programs. 10 years later, the Women's Council of Dallas transferred operational management to VNA, which led to VNA eventually taking over the program entirely in 1973. Special holiday deliveries began on Thanksgivings and Christmas days in the 1980s and continue today. And whereas since then, VNA delivers nutritious, freshly prepared hot meals to more than 6,000 Dallas County residents Monday through Friday. The number of Meals on Wheels prepared by the VNA since 1966 has surpassed 16 million. These meals are delivered to those who are homebound and unable to access resources like food banks and grocery stores. And whereas VNA Meals on Wheels programs work to ensure that no elderly resident lacks adequate daily nutrition needed to continue living in their own homes, Meals on Wheels is not only about providing needed food, it's also about providing a friendly visit and an important safety check to some of our most vulnerable residents. 9 out of 10 Meals on Wheels clients say they feel more safe and secure in their homes, and 83% of clients say the program helps improve their overall health. And whereas every March, Meals on Wheels celebrates its March for Meals campaign effort to raise awareness on the importance of the program and well-being of our advanced age, homebound, frail, sick, disabled, and most vulnerable residents. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby recognize the Meals on Wheels and the Visiting Nurse Association here in Dallas County and urges all residents to join March for Meals 2017 in the fight against hunger in our county. And I so move.
And I proudly second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Whoever wants to speak.
Chris Kulak declined. I'm Catherine Krause. I'm president and CEO of VNA. Good morning, Judge Jenkins and commissioners, and especially Dr. Garcia, who delivers many times per year for Meals on Wheels. So thank you very much. And the resolution said it all in terms of the value of Meals on Wheels, but I wanted to add one thing from a standpoint of the value of Meals on Wheels. Not only does it deliver a nutritious meal and a safety check for a senior, but it's a fiscally smart investment, because 99% of our clients do not get discharged to nursing homes, as well as it prevents Meals on Wheels prevents hospitalization. So a hospital stay is roughly $2,000 to $10,000 a night, depending on how long you're staying. And a nursing home, a semi-private room, is $151 to the state. It costs us $6 a day to feed a person on Meals on Wheels. So I, again, thank you for your support. I want to take just a minute to introduce the people behind me. You know, Chris Kulak, Joyce Gause, Anna Lopez, and Melanie Croman. So thank you all very much.
Would you like a picture with us?
We would love a picture. Thank
Would
you.
you please come? And I just want to say that, I mean, it's you know, it's enjoyable to be part of Meals on Wheels. I get to surprise some of my constituents sometimes when you show up with the lunch. You know, some of them are pleasantly surprised. Some of them are not that pleasantly surprised to get a public servant in their homes. But with that being said, you know, I appreciate all the work you all do.
Hey, I'm gonna take my time, buddy, because I'm getting a little cold.
Hello.
Yeah. Fist bump because it got a little cold. I'm gonna fist bump because it got a little cold.
How you doing? Okay, picture time.
Picture time.
I move closer to the judge. He's sick.
I won't breathe while you're there.
Madam Director, in the center, please.
You, Catherine.
Oh, you want to?
There you go. Thank you. Let's do it on three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
He is just so good.
Not quite that smart. Just bear with me a second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to our main photographer today. As always, he's the best.
So, before we get to the next thing, I'll take a moment of personal privilege because it's March, and we know what that means, don't we?
Yes.
It's March Madness time.
Oh,
So we got both the women and the men's, and whether you're for the number 2 ranked Baylor Bears in the women, or you're for the West Virginia Big 12 champions, or any other team, please join in our pool. We'll have an ESPN bracket on the internet. Same thing with the men, and we've got a lot of local teams. SMU should be in the tournament. UTA, Baylor again will be in the tournament, and at least 5 Big 12 teams. Now, the DA had some concerns I just heard about this morning about the way we do prizes or something. So, Russ, if you know the answer, I don't want to put you on the spot. If you know the answer, then we'll announce that, and if not, we'll visit about it and figure out how we're going to do that. But the time to sign up will be, I'll get Lauren maybe or somebody to send out an email, and we'll throw up 2 ESPN brackets, one for the women and one for the men. And the women's probably is going to start pretty fast because the Big 12 championship was last night, and my beloved Bears lost to West Virginia. So I guess the women's tournament is going to start probably this weekend. All right, so everybody join up. Let's have some fun. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. It's just fun to play. And with that, unless, of course, you're a Baylor Bear fan. That matters a great deal. Oh, and I got to say something about Oregon. Sorry. Okay, so we've got Health and Human Services perhaps doing a presentation. No, you don't have anything? All right, we've got some presentations related to Parkland that Mr. Martin will lead us in those presentations.
Mr. Malaysia is here this morning from Parkland, who will walk us through some of the issues specifically around the patient financial assistance program that I know Dr. Garcia again had questions on that we talked, and I believe she met with a number of folks from Parkland. Commissioner Price had handed out, I believe, to all of the court members information regarding the patient financial assistance program. So Mr. Malaysia is here with us. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Before you get started on that, I think Parkland are county employees. Y'all can jump in the pool. I don't know if we can get the email out to them or something, but y'all can get in the pool too.
Open it up too much, Judge.
That's true. It makes it harder to win the prizes. But Russ is kind of quelling on the prizes, so we got to figure out the prize. All right.
Hopefully there will be good prizes.
Hey, I'm down for doing the prizes. We just got to make sure it's.
Well, it's just fun to play, as you said.
Okay. Mr. Lex, sorry about that.
I didn't bring a PowerPoint or a presentation or anything. It was my impression that I was here to update you and answer some questions on the Patient Financial Assistance Program. I can say, to start out with, that Commissioner Garcia, you had met with Dr. Cerise. I'm sorry. Better?
Yeah, better.
Okay. That you had met with Dr. Cerise and Rhonda Miller, our Senior Vice President of Revenue Cycle, and had raised some issues that had been raised, I believe, originally by Commissioner Price regarding the communication around the Patient Financial Assistance Program. I can say that we have updated our website since your meeting with Dr. Cerise to better communicate what the requirements are, put it in more accessible language for patients in terms of what the requirements are to access the Patient Financial Assistance Program. As you know, currently our Revenue Cycle Senior Vice President is looking at ways to update that program, including its requirements, its identification procedures, that sort of thing. We are lagging a little bit further behind in terms of updating our printed brochures. I was hoping to see what comes out of healthcare reform on the federal level, because just me being a penny pincher, I don't like printing up a bunch of brochures I have to turn around and throw away, but we may not have that luxury depending what the timeline is on them making those adjustments at the federal level. With that, I'm happy to answer any further questions that you had regarding the program.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I did on the, you just said that you plan on improving the I guess, the dissemination of the information. Specifically, what are you going to do?
Specifically, it was correctly pointed out to us by Commissioner Price, Commissioner Garcia, and a patient that there was some confusion around how we communicated what the requirements were for the program, specifically around, for example, the letter to be exempt from the ACA marketplace plans. That, for example, I'm trying to think of another one, that PFA does not replace Medicare Part B. You still need to apply for Medicare Part B. So there were a lot of little things that we could have communicated better that we are now making adjustments to. And it's not that necessarily that they weren't communicated, but it was not in a language that
easily understood.
Yeah, that is easily understood by the patient population. So we're making those adjustments.
Also, that's one part of the communication. How are you going to disseminate it then? Because I've just been talking to community members who were never aware that option was available.
The patient financial assistance? Well, it is a payer of last resort, so it is a very targeted population. When our patients come in, obviously we test them for every other available option in terms of funding, including grants, and you kind of work your way down to when they are eligible for the patient financial assistance program. So it's not really a program that we market out wide. It's not health insurance. There's been some confusion, and there's another reason besides the nature of the program. There is some confusion, and there always is some confusion among patients that patient financial assistance will qualify for the mandate under the ACA. It does not. It's not an insurance program, so that's the perception that we're always fighting within the public, making sure they understand this is not an insurance program. So as far as how we disseminate it, it's really to a very targeted population. We do so through our online channels, and as I said, we need to update our brochures. That was my decision to hold off on that for a little bit, not Rhonda's, so I'll take responsibility for that. But as I said, we may not have the luxury to wait to see what happens on the federal level. It will just be determined by what the timeline is.
And I thank Commissioner, and first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you, Mr. Martin. And I did meet with Ms. Miller, and like you just correctly mentioned, Commissioner Price had some concerns about, a specific process with one patient that you all pretty much went step by step. And I think the main concern and the main confusion, like it was just mentioned, is the fact that people think that the financial assistance is a part of an insurance plan. And people come and say, well, I just got canceled from Parkland's insurance, when in reality it's, part of the ACA, what we're supposed to be putting patients in within. And then if they qualify, then they will get some of the financial assistance. So I think that has been part of the confusion now, because different cases have different recommendations or way to move through. I think that sometimes makes it even more complicated. And now, like you just mentioned, with the new rules, guidelines, so I don't know what to call them, that are coming out from the federal government, we probably will see additional changes. So this is still in motion kind of process that I don't know that is easier to navigate as we continue to move towards that. Yeah.
Specifically around the elimination of the mandate, that would, one of the big issues that that was raised with us is that exemption letter for the ACA marketplace. Well, that may not be an issue moving forward if there's not a mandate to be exempted from.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. The exemption letter is, that people need to get before they can qualify for patient financial assistance is essentially a letter saying that they are exempt from the mandate, the insurance mandate under the ACA. So they don't qualify for the marketplace subsidies. If there is no more mandate, then that exemption letter doesn't exist anymore, and so that won't be an issue for telling folks that they need to go get the exemption letter. And that was kind of what I was getting at in saying that I wanted to see where the federal government was going before I went and spent a bunch of money printing up new brochures and things. But again, I think we're still a ways from consensus on the federal level in terms of what exactly they do. However, the consensus among the majority party does seem to be that there won't be a mandate.
Thank you.
Dr. Commissioner had, Judge Commissioner had one other question regarding the navigation of filling out the application process. There were patients who went to the hospital and then were told they had to go to Mockingbird to complete the process and go back to the hospital. And I don't know.
I believe that was the ACA portion. They were told that they needed to go. They were given a list of folks out in the community who could help with the ACA application. I think that there has been some improvement on that. I know that we met with the Community Council of Greater Dallas, and they had asked to put people in our locations, and that has been done. I believe that they were pleased with the resolution that came out of that, and I know that Rhonda will continue to look for ways to improve that process so that we're not sending people back and forth.
Well, hopefully you can give us an update, but I know, and one of the things that I want to say publicly is, I know it's hard when people are sick and they need medical attention to ask them to, bear with us. But at this point, there's so many things changing, and I hope that Parkland does its best in improving the communication and the training of the employees that we have to be sure that we accommodate as many requests as we can. And I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, and I know that it was both. In talking to them after they met with you, was both the feeling of Rhonda and Dr. Cerise that a lot of the issues that were raised were legitimate and things that they need to adjust.
Definitely, Commissioner Price was right on in the concern that he had with his case. So, thank you.
Thank you for coming,
Thank you.
answering questions.
Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed?
Second, just second.
Motion carries unanimously. And next, we have the bids.
So move.
Second.
Well, we haven't finished
Are we
on the
getting the
consent
last
agenda
one?
yet.
Yeah, done.
All right, now, all those in favor, signify, whoops.
Hold on, hold on.
You got it?
Awards, just
Yeah.
need to be patient with Lori. She's first time to do this, so.
You're doing great.
Yes, doing great.
Dr. Garcia, did you make the motion?
Yes, I did. And they already have me there.
Good job, Lori. Thank you. All right.
Put it to a vote.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Next, we're going to have court orders L1 through 58 and addendums 59 through 62, pulling item 2 and item 20, item 2 for 2 weeks, and item 24 for a separate vote.
Correct.
And is there a motion on that?
So move.
Second.
Oh, okay. Is there any discussion on those?
Well, let me ask a question. With regard to 59 and 62, do those not need to go into closed before we vote on those, or? Good point. 59 is going to be the depository contract?
Right.
Right.
Actually, 59 needs to be passed before we go into executive session.
That's just to go into executive session? Okay.
And 62, I would like to hold until after close. Correct.
Okay, so
1 to 58, pulling 24.
We'll just go ahead and pull, we'll do a friendly amendment to pull 62 as well.
Correct.
So pulling court orders 2, 24, 59, and
No,
62.
not 59, just 62.
I'm not
I'm
pulling.
sorry, 62.
I'm not pulling 2. I just want to make some.
the staff
comments.
wants.
Somebody
Staff.
else. Oh, staff is pulling it out?
Okay.
Okay.
So 2, 24, and 62.
And 62.
All right.
Why are we pulling number 2, Mr. Brown?
There's some identification language that we still need to work out with the city of Dallas. Lynn Richardson will work with the city of Dallas and Russell to get that resolved.
Good. Okay.
You second.
And, agenda item number 1, is the one the judge allowed it this morning, and Commissioner Cantrell questions have been addressed, so that's it.
Awesome. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
I'll move court order 24.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's just give her just a second. All set?
That's it.
And this will be the only one that we'll need to vote on. The others are being pulled for
Correct.
2 weeks. That's right. There you go. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Abstain.
And I abstain as well. Motion carries 2 with 2 abstentions. All right. And this takes us to any remaining public speakers.
Before you get to the speakers, I'd like to introduce Michael Grace, our new Director of Unincorporated Area Services, who started with us on yesterday, went through orientation. Unfortunately, he had a slight accident this morning coming in, but he did make it in, and he's here. So Michael, would you stand up? And we'd like to welcome Michael, extensive background and experience in urban planning, so we're excited to have him on board, and looking forward to a lot of great work in that department. So welcome, Michael.
Welcome. Look forward to see all those reports.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right. Next, our rules of decorum are still in effect. We've got some public speakers we haven't heard from yet. First of those is Dolores Phillips. Good morning, Dolores. Come on up.
Good morning. Good morning. You do have handouts. It would be 3 separate handouts. It was inevitable that the original system of Jim Crow would raise and build cultured, diverse hate.
Excuse me. Sorry, go ahead.
It's okay. Honorable Jenkins, when Commissioner Price was indicted, I really believed it to be a hoax. In my pleadings to the court, I asked the court, was his indictment a hoax, and those indicted with him? When Governor Perry was indicted, I also thought it was a hoax. And as I stand here before you today, please do not believe that I'm being sarcastic. I really wrote that in my pleadings to the court. When Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton was indicted, then I knew that they had become the scapegoats to the most massive, well-documented criminal conspiracy, and all of you are the mask for it. How do you, as a team, infiltrate schools and have babies literally coming from high school, fresh into college, volunteering to be sex bait to hopefully get their target, another female, to open? This is March. You said this is Women's Month. Oh, how I have utmost respect for women, because if it wasn't for us beautiful vessels, no one would be here. But you have to speak the truth for what the truth is. I've never ever felt such a humiliating, painful feeling than to be sexually harassed by my sisters born with the same sexual anatomy as me, and it's all has something to do with this open up, we want, get the key. It's yet unfolding in the courts. When I spoke of corruption against this powerful incorporation, it affected everything right to this day, even my family. Blacklisting, bribery, blackmail, and the foreclosure was all because I truthfully speak. FBI is even thrown under the bus in this madness. The highest platform in Washington, you have high-ranking FBI officials being the mask for what was unleashed here criminally. I'm saying the FBI agents that's given great service to America is being universally shamed because of what was unleashed here. So how do you take a commissioner who's, even if his crimes that he's alleged to have done is true, what he masked makes his crimes look like nothing? I'm not worried about ongoing repercussions, past, going, and continuing. I'm not afraid to live, and I'm not afraid to transition. I'm going to give it back in peace and truth. And to my ladies, this March, this is your month. This March, if you're having a struggle with your same sex, you don't know how to come out, you have to get the proper, Honorable Jenkins, it's women on your staff that needs counseling to come out if that's what they want to do. They don't have the right to sexually harass because they're in denial. You have some on your staff, Honorable Jenkins, have a meeting with them, but your criminal conspiracy put that man under the bus, Governor Perry, and also Texas Attorney General Paxton. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right. So our next public speaker is Mr. Richard Sheridan.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Excuse me, I have a handout. I'm here to speak about the Dallas County's, I asked, what is Dallas County's West Dallas RSR Smelters Superfund responsibilities? I believe there is certainly a responsibility there. For nearly 20 years, our town crier, William Hopkins, has been going to City Hall and coming to Commissioner's Court to say people are dying in West Dallas. Mr. Hopkins has not been alone in this work, and I've attached a list of 16 other speakers, and there's probably many more than 16 speakers who have come here and have gone to City Hall. So it's not just one person crying in the wilderness. And there's no way I can communicate in 3 minutes all of the details of the biggest case of environmental racism in Dallas history. I believe that Louis Sepulveda coined that phrase. Therefore, I've attached a speech I gave to this court in July 2014. There's no question in my mind. I have a master's degree in environmental engineering, and I was a project manager of a PCB site investigation and cleanup in San Francisco in the early 80s. That Mr. Hopkins is right, and that many, many people are still dying from the lead spewed in the air in West Dallas for over 50 years. And by the way, there's a picture there of a young Hispanic boy, and it doesn't matter whether he's Hispanic or that black or white. The soils in West Dallas are still contaminated. 1/3 of the soils are still contaminated with high unacceptable levels of lead, and as that picture indicates, the caption, that boy has unacceptable levels of lead in his blood. So it is still ongoing. We have children out there playing in soils with unacceptable levels of lead. And if the EPA is not going to do something about it, then certainly Dallas County, Parkland, the health department has a responsibility to go and investigate. So EPA has abandoned its responsibility in addressing the public aspects. Then what does Dallas County, what responsibility does it have? It, again, has a responsibility. I put here a 4-step process. If the county confirms that the ongoing sicknesses are from lead poisoning, then the county contacts the EPA and demands that they do something. If EPA refused, then you can conduct an epidemiological study, and that would include a mortality rate, and I think you'll find, I found, that it's 2.5 times what it normally would be, at 20 instead of 8. And then once it's found that it does have an unusually high level, then we can go into determining the lead in the bone. If it goes in the blood, after 2 months it's gone. Then the last step would be to treat. There's a treatment process called chelation therapy. So who's going to pay for it? Certainly the EPA is responsible to pay for whatever costs to help cure those that are dying from the lead poisoning. And I will certainly send a letter to the Attorney General of the state of Texas, and perhaps even to the Attorney General of the United States of America on this, because it's a very serious issue, and it's a very hot political issue. I understand that, but something needs to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, our next speaker is Mr. William Hopkins. Mr. William Hopkins, Mr. William Hopkins. I think he's not here today. Our next speaker, oh wait, oh no, okay. Our next speaker is Mr. Robert Ciccarelli.
Yeah, good morning, Robert Ciccarelli. First, 3 weeks ago, I was on Channel 11 News. Robbie Owens interviewed me. At that time, I was going to be homeless in about a week. I was very desperate. Fortunately, I got a 5-month extension about 5 days after the interview. I just want to let that know that what homelessness can do, it can devastate you, and I was very, very depressed and very, very devastated at that particular time of what would happen to me. I would just like to thank everybody helping us out, but I just want to let you know that homelessness is very, very a situation where it can take you emotionally, spiritually, and physically. It took me mentally. The pamphlets I just gave you, I'm very big on housing before permanent supportive housing. I want to make that clear. Housing before permanent supportive housing. After the shelter and before the permanent supportive housing. I mentioned this before that if the homeless people stay at the shelters 1 month and the caseworkers or the case managers certify them mentally and emotionally stable, they will move on to the next housing, which be the Dawson State Jail or empty buildings. This needs to be done, please, because homelessness, it just takes you down. I was ready to go to jail, and I've done it 3 or 4 times before that, but this is the first time I was advertising on the media. What I'm trying to say to you is these pamphlets from City Square, if you do it on a bond election or whatever you like to do it, there's different programs, which I just showed you, which if the homeless get into this, like the Dawson State Jail, it's called temporary supportive housing. It's like construction on one side, hospitality on the other side, and they have literacy programs at the city square. Also, the programs could be in the DARS, El Centro, continuing education, working, or job training. One of those several fields can be done at these housing for temporary supportive housing before they get their permanent supportive housing. What I'm trying to say to you is this is a bipartisan. It can be done, but you have to get together, make sure that the taxpayers know that this will be productive for the homeless people to live in and to participate when they are going to get before the permanent supportive housing. It's very, very important that this happens because you cannot do anything being homeless. It takes you all the way down. How many times do I have to say it? Say it, say it. There is no other options. You take the wraparound services, you get the temporary supportive housing, and that way you get homeless started, and that way they can be productive citizens. I'm out of time, I believe. Give me 10 more seconds, please. I just will let you know that hopefully you listen to me very carefully and you put this in a bond election, please, or let it be known that this will work. Production, even you, sir, would be appreciative of this, would be the production of the citizens, of the homeless, before they get into permanent supportive housing. They'd be productive some way. They just wouldn't just stay there. You got to get them off the streets, and this is the best way. Get that to Austin State open, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. All right, and that concludes our public speakers. In a moment, we'll adjourn for our closed session for matters to be discussed in a subsequent open session. Any action that results from the closed session that requires a vote will be discussed in a subsequent open session. The only matters discussed in closed session will be those authorized under Chapter 551 of the Government Code. We'll start that momentarily. Thanks. Okay, we're back on the record? Guys, we're gonna vote on 62 real fast.
Well, I have to do them twice.
Okay.
Okay, we ready?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Cantrell,
Commissioner
second
Control,
by-
second by Dr. Garcia.
Okay.
By all of us.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. No further
Thank you.
action necessary. Court's adjourned.
Good job, Lori.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
If you can put